Hello again, my DIY loving friends. I'm Sarah and this is Medicated Housewife DIY, where crafting and mental health come together. In today's video, let's transform your space with some chic DIY wall art using Dollar Tree Tumbling Tower Blocks. But wait, there's more. We'll also be incorporating other fabulous Dollar Tree finds to elevate your decor game without breaking the bank. So what are we waiting for? Let's go DIY together. For this DIY, I'm starting with 24 of these natural wood tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, as well as 18 of these brown colored tumbling tower blocks, also from Dollar Tree, because Dollar Tree sent me all boxes that have half natural and half brown blocks. I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons here. I'm going to make sets of 2 blocks attached side to side out of all the blocks that are here. The natural blocks with natural blocks and the brown blocks with brown blocks. I'm using this Beacon 3-in-1 glue, and I will link it for you in the description box below, but you can also use the super glue wood glue from Dollar Tree to do this as well. So first I make my 12 sets of 2 natural blocks, as you see me doing here, and once the natural color block sets are all finished, I do the same thing with the 18 brown color blocks in sets of 2 going side by side, and I'm left with 9 of these sets of 2 brown blocks and 12 of these sets of 2 natural blocks. I mixed some apple barrel matte black paint, which I will link for you below, with some Waverly clear wax, which I will also link for you below, to make a black wax mixture, which I'm using to paint over only the brown colored blocks. I want to get a kind of dark, almost burnt black wood grain look over these brown blocks, and mixing the wax into the paint makes the paint a little easier to move around a bit and makes it more pliable, if that makes any sense. I don't want smooth coverage. I want a grainy kind of wood look finish, just to give those dark brown blocks some rustic texture and character. I paint one side of the 2 block set as well as the ends and the edges, as you can see right here. On my 12 sets of 2 natural color wood blocks, I'm using this Americana gel stain in the color Walnut, which I will link for you below, and just like the brown blocks, I'm using this gel stain on one side of the block sets as well as the ends and the edges. I use a dry paper towel to rub off some of that excess stain as I'm going until all 12 sets of the natural blocks are stained. Next, I grabbed this 12-inch wood canvas panel from Dollar Tree Plus, and I really love these things. They're high quality and I use them all the time. I'm going to paint this using a mixture of water and apple barrel matte white paint, which I will link for you below. I'm painting the entire inside of the wood panel as well as the inside walls and then the outside frame, giving it a whitewashed effect. Then I'm going to let this fully dry. Next, I'm creating an alternating light and dark pattern using the 2 different color block sets, and I attach them together as you see me doing here, and it's just easier for you to watch me do this than for me to try to explain it. But if at any point you need to, you can always pause or replay this part of the video to see exactly how this pattern is assembled. In the meantime, just watch how I put it together. I made some small marks with a pencil where I wanted to glue down the block pattern, and I applied some of the glue in those areas. Then I placed my wood block design down in the center of the wood panel and added some weight on top of it to help it adhere stronger. I allowed that to fully dry. And this is my woven wood tumbling tower block wall art, and I am so happy with how this turned out. From the beauty of the 2 contrasting wood tones to the woven look pattern, just a beautiful, neutral, or a little bit rustic, upscale wall art piece that will look stunning on any wall in your home or leaning on a shelf. Just a simple use of those not so pretty dark brown tumbling tower blocks that really brightens my day. For this next DIY, I have this 10-inch plain round mirror, and I will link it for you below. And I also have some of these bamboo chopsticks I used in a video a couple of weeks ago that are really inexpensive from Amazon, and I'll link them below. Or maybe you happen to have a bunch in your kitchen junk drawer right now, then this is a great use for those. I'm measuring 6 inches on one of the chopsticks, and I'm going to cut 24 of these chopsticks to be 6 inches long. I used my favorite clippers to cut these, and I will drop a link for the clippers below. So now I have 24 of these 6-inch chopsticks cut, and I am marking 4.5 inches on another chopstick, and I'll use my clippers to cut 24 more of these chopsticks to 4.5 inches long. So now I have 24 of my 6-inch chopsticks and 24 of my 4.5-inch chopsticks ready to go. I left about an inch of space around that cardboard that's covering the mirror, and that space is where I'm attaching the ends of my chopsticks. I'm using this Starbond super glue gel, which I will link for you below, to attach that 1-inch space of the chopstick to the mirror. And I'm beginning with the 6-inch chopstick pieces. Then, using a ruler, I measure about 1 inch away from the first chopstick and attach the next 6-inch chopstick piece. I keep going like this with each 6-inch piece of chopstick 1 inch away from the one next to it until I've gone all the way around the mirror with all 24 of the 6-inch chopstick pieces. Then I grab my 4.5-inch pieces of chopstick, and I'm going to place the shorter pieces in between each side of the 6-inch chopsticks. And I just eyeball the placement, trying to keep it as even looking as I can. I'm going to glue down one 4.5-inch chopstick between each 6-inch chopstick until I get all the way around the mirror, using up all 24 of these shorter 4.5-inch pieces. While the super glue dried, I have this roll of paper raffia I got on Amazon, and I'll link it for you below, but you can get raffia at Dollar Tree as well. I start to unravel the folds in the paper on my roll of raffia, and I am going to do that for a very long piece so that I can use it fully unraveled. So now I have this very long piece of raffia that I've folded in half, and I'm going to start with this looped end, and I pull that loop over one of the chopsticks, and I'm going to begin a basket weave around each of the chopsticks around my mirror. And the way you do a basket weave is to use 2 pieces of raffia at once, and you twist the 2 pieces after each chopstick. So basically, you are weaving both sides of the chopsticks at one time. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Basket weaving is really easy once you get into a rhythm. Just watch what I'm doing and it will make more sense to you. I'm just going to keep going around the mirror, weaving and pushing the woven raffia down tighter toward that center. I didn't count how many rows I was doing. I just kept going until I thought it looked like enough woven raffia around that mirror. When I felt that I had enough rows of the woven raffia, I cut the 2 pieces, and I used a little hot glue on the back of the mirror to hold them down and in place. I had thought about leaving the mirror just as is, sometimes less is more, but then I decided to do a couple of rows of thick jute twine above the rows of woven raffia, and I am basket weaving the jute in the exact same way that I had with the raffia, just to kind of put an ending on it, to finish it, so to speak, and for a more polished look. Lastly, I used some E6000 glue to attach a cardboard circle to the back of the mirror, and off camera, I made a little jute twine hanger so that I could hang it on the wall. And this is my chopstick and raffia sunburst mirror, and I love this boho vibe mirror so much. It's very neutral, and the basket weaving with the chopsticks give a lot of texture. I feel like this is so trendy and high-end in a neutral decor kind of way. It's bright and airy and sunny and just happy. It makes me smile, and that's always a good thing. For this DIY, I've got these 3 7-inch bamboo hoops like the ones you can get at Dollar Tree. And the first thing I'm going to do is to paint them all over with this Americana gel stain in walnut. I am painting the insides, the outside, and all the edges on all 3 hoops. Then I have 3 more bamboo hoops, and I am going to be painting these 3 with some apple barrel white paint that's been mixed with water. I paint all 3 hoops the same way as the previously stained hoops. Then I went back to my stained hoops and placed one hoop inside the other, pushing it into place, and then I took the third hoop and pushed that one through the other 2, moving them around until they start to resemble a rounded orb or globe, Or more accurately, like what the picture of an atom looks like from high school science class. That's what I'm seeing, and I can't unsee it. Now, I did not glue the connections of the 3 hoops because I was afraid the glue would get everywhere, all over the hoops, and look messy. But if you want these to be really secure in place, use some glue where the hoops intersect. I took 4 tumbling tower blocks stained to match the orb and glued them together just like this with some hot glue to make a small stand for my rounded orb. I had some pieces of faux suede cord, and I am pretty sure that you can get similar cording at Dollar Tree. I used some hot glue to secure it in place, and I wrapped that cord around the bottom and at the top of the orb at the intersecting connections of the hoops, partially for looks and partially for some added structural security since I didn't use any glue. I assembled the 3 white hoops the exact same way as the stained hoops, pushing one through the other, and then the 3rd hoop through the first 2, also without any glue. I wrapped the top and bottom intersecting hoops of this white orb with some jute twine, just like the kind you get at Dollar Tree, using some dabs of hot glue to secure the jute at the beginning and at the end, on the top and on the bottom of the white rounded orb. I decided to add a little more embellishment to the top of that white rounded orb by wrapping more of the jute that's going down each bamboo hoop coming out from where I wrapped that intersected top. Hopefully that makes sense. I only wrapped about 1 inch of the way down on each piece of the bamboo hoops and secured it in place with some hot glue. I made a small stand for the white orb out of 4 white painted Jenga blocks, as you can see right here. Off camera, I took 2 tiny wood rings from my stash, as well as a wood bead and a wood half round, glued them all together and stained them a warm brown. I decided to place this at the top of my white bamboo ring orb and secured it with some hot glue. And these are my 2 bamboo hoop orbs. I think these are both so sweet looking. The white one looks farmhouse to me, and the brown stain one is a little more rustic. I love the way they look with these succulents or any kind of greenery, or even with some moss and florals. They are very customizable to suit anyone's style and incredibly easy. A great way to use those Dollar Tree bamboo hoops. And there you have it, folks, a stunning piece of wall art made entirely of Dollar Tree items. Let me know in the comments which one of these DIYs was your favorite and why. You know I love hearing from you. If you loved this DIY video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more budget-friendly DIYs. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, remember that together, we're making the world a more beautiful place, one DIY at a time.